It's a pleasure to be here today. Nicole's going to take you through using SR and Genie. So yeah, any questions, we're happy to answer those. We're obviously delighted to be able to share this service with you and hope that you find it really helpful. Nicole.
Hi guys, so today I'm going to show you SR and Genie, but what I'm going to do is I'm also going to show you what the GP see and how they would make a referral to you as a specialist, because specialists can on-refer using SR as well, and there's absolutely no cost to send a referral using SR. So it's a good thing to know. So let me start screen sharing. That's not screen shared, has it? Sorry about this, guys. There we go. Can everybody see Genie? Great. So here we are, we're in a patient record. And what I want to do first is I want to find SR. So in Genie, I go to Tools, and I go all the way to the bottom to HealthLink Online, and I click there. And then to find SR, I just need to make this a bit smaller because there we go. I go New. And this will bring you to the HealthLink landing page. So what we have here is we've got a whole lot of SmartForms. These are the ones that you should be familiar with, public referrals, as well as, Hearing Australia, which is more often used by the GPs. But in all these HealthLink landing SmartForms, we have got Specialists and Referrals, and that's us. So if you click on that, you will come to our page. Now, we are the Medical Specialist Directory, and that's a book that's been going on for 21 years now, and it gets sent out to all GPs and all specialists, and this is directory of all the specialists, in this case in New South Wales. So from here, we have got a search, and what you can do is you can either choose the specialist's name, or if you don't know a specialist name, you can choose a category. That's going to be quite broad, and then you can choose a postcode. Once you've chosen something there, you always have to hit search specialists. So I'm going to show you something now, just a few different things that could come up. So if I go to dermatology and I go Bondi, and I hit search, and what comes up is we've got groups that come up and people who come up. And I just wanted to show you the difference. So for this group over here, they e-refer live, so you can make a referral. And that referral doesn't have a specialist name. So that means it will just go to the group, and whoever's available will be seen, or will see the patient. But if you click on the group page, you can see a bit more about the group, as well as the specialists who work there. And if there's a specialist that you specifically know, you can choose that specialist and click on them. Now, Michael Bannister over here is e-refer, and is also manual refer. And this means that at the Bondi Junction, if you send a referral to that address, it will be sent through SR and go straight into the specialist software. Manual refer means that they're not set up to receive electronic referrals. And if you make the referral, you will then have to print it out and either give it to the patient or fax it through to the specialist. And I'm just going to show you, I'll show you an electronic referral first, but I just want to run through a few more differences that you can see, or how you can be found as a specialist. So if you stick with Michael Bannister, you can see he actually belongs to two groups, so he's got two different sets of contact information. And the Bondi Junction one here is Eastern Suburbs Dermatology, and the Manly is North Shore Dermatology. So if I decide I want to send a referral to Manly, it would have to be the manual referral, but most GPs would choose to send it electronically, and the patient would just have to go to a different place. So if I go back to the search results, back again, let's see. So what we have here below is we've got Dr. Patel, and she is advertising as herself. So she's got a bit of a promo about herself, what she does. But again, she has got two addresses, one electronic referral and one a manual referral. So what I'm going to do now is show you how to send an electronic referral. Now, as I said, I know this is more for the GPs, but it's useful, and I'll show you what to do with the referrals after this. So we have got a test specialist, and his name is Mickey Mouse. So I'm just going to type in his surname and then hit search specialists. And then I've got one Mickey Mouse that came up, as well as some other psychiatrists or psychiatry groups that come up. So I have got a few different addresses for Mickey Mouse. And I just want to send it to the third address, because then I can show you how this referral comes out in a minute. So this is our SmartForm, and this is done by HealthLink, but all the information from your specialist record is here, and the patient details will all pull through from the patient record. I'll show you a bit more of that in a sec. So this has been sent to Mickey Mouse, and you would need to fill all these things in here. Obviously, a specialist referral period would just be 3 months. Now there's an asterisk here or a little star. Something has to be filled in there for the referral to work or to be sent in. We also tell the GPs that when they make an electronic referral or a fax referral, manual referral, they fill in as much as possible in this additional information, purely because we have got one form for all specialists. So the cardiologist is going to be quite different to an orthopedic surgeon, and the more information that the specialist is given, the easier it is to triage and accept or decline the referral. So the next section here is attachments and reports. And I've got a few reports in my patient. I'm going to click Master Iron Studies. But if I'm not quite sure I've got the right report, because sometimes they aren't labeled correctly, I can preview that and see what it comes up like. So when I have a look, I can see this is the exact lab test reports or results that I want. So I'm going to tick that, and I am also going to browse my local file. And that means I'm going to be searching my computer for other attachments to add to this referral. And sometimes that is necessary, just because things have been scanned in and not been labeled properly or not put into the patient record. Obviously, they should all be done at some stage, but maybe you're making the referral purely because you've got a result back and it's pretty urgent that that result goes on. So there's I'm going to choose this X-ray and I'm going to attach that. Okay, so if you see here, I've got one attachment ticked, and I've also got a local file attachment over there. And that's quite important because I'd like to show you how that comes in the end. So there we go. We have got medications. Now, my test patient's a little bit on the light side, but if my actual patient had a whole bunch of medications and warnings and allergies, they would automatically be ticked, and they would automatically pull through to the referral letter, unless you think there's something very specifically that you do not want the specialist to see. And then you do have the option of unticking it. So again, all this pulled through from my patient record. My test patient's a little bit on the light side. Now here again, this pulls through from the patient record, and anytime there's a red star, something has to be filled in, otherwise the patient, the referral won't go through. And at the bottom here, this is all my information. So this comes through from my software. And so I have made the effort to fill it all in. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to submit this referral. And it takes a few seconds, but then I will get referral sent and acknowledged. And this means that HealthLink has it, and HealthLink is now going to deliver it to the specialist. It doesn't mean that a specialist has seen it. And that's where I come in. So what I do every day is I phone people for the first time they get a referral through our service. I phone them and check that they are being seen. Now within Genie, they'll go into incoming letters, and I confirm with reception or the practice manager that incoming letters is being checked. And if it's not being checked, I go through step by step, showing people how to do it. And that way we don't get grumpy GPs when referrals get lost, or they sit in an inbox that nobody's actually looking at. So this is the PDF that gets sent to the specialist. Now, what you can do here is you can print that button and you can give it to the patient, and the patient can take it with them. You can print it and send by fax as well, though you shouldn't need to, but sometimes it's a good idea, especially if you're not sure about the specialist or you don't know them. But if you look at this referral, it's got all the information except it's got the attachments and the attachment, the X-ray at the bottom. Now, when you scroll down, there aren't actually any attachments on this referral letter. So if you do decide to send it by fax as well, you will need to pull that attachment out and print it out as well, so that the specialist does have it. Now, what I'm going to show you is if I go to my portal account. So the portal account is for specialists that don't have software that's compatible with HealthLink. But I've got a HealthLink portal, and the great thing about it is you can see things pretty quickly. So where that sent acknowledgement means that HealthLink has it to send it to the specialist, because HealthLink manages the portal account, it means that the specialist gets it right away. So I'm just trying to open that. So here's the referral that we just sent, 21st of 9th, a few minutes ago. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to open that.
Nicole, you need to share the other screen.
Oh, sorry about that. This one. Is that good? Okay, so here is the referral that I just sent. And what you have is all the information. The PDF looks exactly the same as it did in the when we sent it. The difference is, if you go down, the X-ray is there and the blood tests are over there. So it comes through as one document. There's no attachments that are going to get lost, no little bits of extra bits that could fall off. It's one document with everything on it. And we do have, we've had quite a few queries from the GP saying, how do they know that the specialist is going to get that X-ray? Because it's not visible when you send the referral, but it's definitely there. Okay, now I'm just going to stop share and change to my other one. Back to Genie. Okay, so we have sent a referral to our test patient, to our test specialist. And I'm going to show you now how to find the referrals in Genie. So as a specialist, you should know that everything comes into your incoming letters, or your lab pathology reports, lab tests will go into incoming letters. So if I go into incoming letters here, this is everything that's coming. Now I do Dr. All, even though I do have my Dr. Mickey Mouse. If I do that, you can see it's pretty much the same thing. But the reason I do all is every time you get a referral as a specialist, and the name could be slightly different or the title could be slightly different, Genie, to prevent any of those referrals from being lost or any lab results from being lost, will make a new folder. So for me, Mickey Mouse, I might end up with a folder saying Dr. Mickey Mouse or Dr. M Mouse. And so that way it's easiest for me to do all. Sometimes the practice managers know that there's a doctor and a Mr. And they're happy to check each of those, especially if there are a lot of specialists involved. But if you're checking for referrals or pathology reports for the whole group, might as well do all to be on the safe side. Now, Genie automatically sets it to unlinked, so you only have things that need to be actioned in your inbox. If you want to see things that you've already linked, you can see there's a little bit more. Now, I don't use Genie too often, other than for doing demos, so I don't have a whole bunch there, and obviously I don't receive pathology reports. So I'm going to open my first letter in my incoming letters. So I double click on that, and I have got a referral for Dr. Anderson that was sent to Dr. Mickey Mouse. Now over here, there are 3 equal signs. And those equal signs mean there's no match on the name or the date of birth. I could do a match, but nothing's going to come up. So the easiest thing for me to do is to actually make a patient record from this referral. And that's pretty cool. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go new. And all the information from that patient record, from the referral, comes in here, all the patient details. And I can save that. And now if you see those equals that were red before are now green. So that means I've got a David Anderson with that date of birth in my database. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to link this referral to that, that patient. And now it's automatically moved on to the next patient. So I'm going to close out of that and show you the next person. So David Anderson is still there. What that means is I just need to open incoming letters again, and it's refreshed, and I don't have David Anderson there at all. What I can also do now is I can open patient. I am going to search my patients. I have got David Anderson's the top patient there, and it is actually a referral. So the referral is over here, as are the patient details. If I look at the information about the patient, that's over there. So the referral is there and the patient record has been made, which is pretty awesome actually. No more scanning things and typing them in. The other great thing about this is that the GP information should all be correct. There's no mistyping the spelling of the name or the Medicare number or anything like that, which could cause problems in the future. So I'm going to close out of David Anderson and I'm going to open incoming letters again. There we go. And I've got dummy patient next. So let's click on dummy patient. And I have got my referral letter over here. And there's nothing matching on the patient's name or date of birth. So I can do a match, but nothing's going to come up. And then I'm going to make a new patient. And what I could do, and what you should do at this stage is you should put the GP details in here. But I'm going to just save it because the GP is me and the specialist is me. And there I've got a patient, dummy patient, and I've got a match on the name and the date of birth. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to link this referral. And then I can go out of that. So this has moved on to the next patient. So the minute you link something, it automatically moves to the next referral letter in your inbox. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to close out of incoming letters. I'm going to open it again. And you can see the dummy patient is no longer there. So if I could remember that I've linked somebody, but I can't remember their name and I do need to phone them and book them in, what I need to do now is I need to go linked. And then I can see all the ones that I have done. So dummy patient was actually sent a while ago, so it's gone a little bit higher in the date order, but then I can go from there and I can see the referral. So that is how you receive your referrals. If you need me to go over that a little bit later, I'm happy to do that. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to just go through SR again and show you a few other little features of specialists and referrals. So I'm going to open patient. Sorry, it's a little bit slow there, too much clicking. So I'm back in Donald Duck, which is my test patient, and I am going to go to Tools, HealthLink Online, and then New. So here I am again at the HealthLink landing page, and I'm going to choose Private Specialists and Referrals. And I am going to choose a category. Let's go Obscene. Where is it? There we go. And I'm just going to search specialists. So they will all come up from all over the place. And you can see a nice mixture of electronic referrals and manual referrals. But what I wanted to show you here was the subcategories. Now, if you have a look here, there's a whole lot of subcategories. And then I could go gynecological oncology and see if anybody's there. Now it's reduced the results down quite a bit, but at least you know that the specialist you're choosing is going to deal with gynecological oncology. So removing or not limiting yourself to a suburb can be quite good. unless you know, obviously, of a person you're quite keen on using. So if I just go to Felix Chan, if I look here, he's got a whole bunch of addresses and they're all electronic referral. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to choose a manual refer, purely because she's not going to get it unless I give it to her, unless we print it out and give it to her. So the manual referral is exactly the same as the electronic referral, except it doesn't go through to the specialist at the end. So there's a little bit of a warning here that only e-referrals support attachments. This recipient is unable to receive referrals electronically. Manual referrals do not support attachments. So you will not be able to do an attachment. If you do want to send x-rays or lab results, you do need to print them out separately and fax them off. So again, the reason I'm showing you this is just to send another referral that you can see, slightly different, but same. And that's the big bonus for GPs, is that they can use the service whether somebody is live for receiving electronic referrals or not. So everybody that we know about is on the Specialists and Referrals. And we have a team of people who go around phoning, confirming the contact details, and checking all the information we have daily. There's a whole lot of people doing that. So everything should be up to date, but if somebody is missing, let us know. And if we have your details incorrect or you've moved rooms, let us know. So let's go back to the beginning. So the requested information, all that's filled in there. I'm going to fill something in over here and a little bit more information there. Attachments and reports. The warning comes up again. I cannot tick anything here and there's no preview on the side. So medications, again, I don't really have anything in my test referral. But what I can do is I can show you the preview. And again, the preview is the beautiful little PDF that's really neat and clear and easy to read. And I can then choose to submit. Let's see what happens, because this is a fax referral only. So it didn't send the referral, but it has saved the referral onto my system. So if I open it, I can see the same referral. Obviously not too much information because it's Donald Duck, but there is a nice warning at the top there, and the fax number, which is great. So it's not difficult to send referrals both ways.
Nicole,
obviously, yes.
Just share your other screen again because it's gone to another screen.
Okay, I'm sorry about that. Okay, sorry about that, guys. I'm only able to share one screen, not my whole desktop. So I tried to submit this referral, but obviously they were only live for manual referrals. Instead of the referral being sent, it saved it to my computer as a PDF. Once the PDF has been made, it cannot be amended. But there is a note at the top. It's to be printed and sent by fax or mail. And please print the referral and any attachments before sending, and the fax number is also there. So there's no excuse for if a GP wants to send a referral electronically and they come to that particular specialist and that specialist is not live to receive electronic referrals, they can still do the whole process. There's no change. Everyone's in the book. Everyone can receive a referral, whether it's manual or electronic. That is up to the specialist rooms, basically. Carmel, anything else?
So obviously we're registering new specialists daily. We work closely with HealthLink on that, and we update the status of specialists daily as well as they go live for electronic. It's a big focus of our work to support this. We've actually introduced a similar SR service has been live in New Zealand since 2015. And that has gone really well with the level of support that we've been providing directly to the specialist in New Zealand as well. We've had over 800,000 referrals sent through our New Zealand version of SR. So we have a fair amount of familiarity with what's involved with supporting GPs and specialists, and we're very, our team is totally dedicated to just working directly with GPs and specialists to make this work. We sort of know how important it is to people for their practice to have a smooth referral channel, and we are able to easily update any contact details just with a click of a few buttons, and that can go live as soon as we know each day. So happy to take questions, and also if there's any areas that you'd like Nicole to demo through again, that's also, obviously we're fine to do that. The support that we're providing as specialists receive referrals the first time is obviously very important to giving GPs confidence that the referral is being seen. We're also able to send email notifications to specialists as they get familiar with checking as well. And we're doing that for a number of specialists daily at the moment as well. What's that?
I was going to say, when you finished, don't worry.
No, you go for it.
So a large portion of my job is phoning the specialists' rooms to check that the referrals are being seen. There are many specialists who have HealthLink who aren't aware of having HealthLink, and they are able to receive referrals. So HealthLink has set up receiving only accounts, and it's absolutely free for specialists to receive through HealthLink on these receiving only accounts. So phoning to check that the referral is being seen, does bring up, but I don't have HealthLink, and they do have HealthLink, or you do have HealthLink, and it's running in the background. But sometimes there are problems with the software. And even though you do have HealthLink and it is up and running, we will set it to set you on SR to manual refer until the HealthLink problems get fixed. Sometimes it's just your software not talking, or the software is not really compatible, so you can do other things with HealthLink but not receive PDFs. But we do work through all these problems with HealthLink and the help desk team, and I constantly, every single day, submit help desk queries on the specialist's behalf, obviously CCing the practice manager or the receptionist I spoke to in, so that they are aware of what's happening, especially when the help desk team calls to remote into the software and see if any settings need to be fixed. And often it's just a couple of settings that need to be tweaked so that the referrals can be seen and downloaded correctly into your software. So yeah, we work a lot getting making sure the referrals are seen, because otherwise GPs are not going to trust us if referrals are going, getting lost in space. Yep. So when you do get calls about checking your details, sometimes checking software or EDIs, I know it could seem a bit strange, but that's why. And in New South Wales, there are loads of specialists on HealthLink, and loads of specialists already receiving referrals electronically. We know, and every time we make a new specialist, somebody who's new, who's just finished college or was working public only, and now they set up their own practice, they get a HealthLink EDI, but we still go and we call them the first time they get a referral through our service. And sometimes we call them 3, 4, 5, 6 times just to make sure that the referrals are being seen. And as Carmel said, we are setting up email notifications, just because some software like Genie doesn't let you know when referrals come in. So it's a good idea to check incoming letters every day and link lab results or link letters to the patients, but you do not get a notification. Some other software, you do get a notification when referrals come in. And so we don't, once we've got through that first one to check that the notifications are turned on and they are receiving them, it's all sorted. So it is going well, and hopefully a whole bunch of new specialists will sign up and get referrals through us as well.
On the GP side, GPs that are using Medical Director and Best Practice and have HealthLink, which is the majority of GP practices, have access now to the service. So they don't have to do any install or any setup. They can go in straight to the HealthLink landing page where they're accessing other forms like the Transport New South Wales one, and start using SR and sending referrals. So there's no barrier on the GP side, and it doesn't cost them anything. They also have the ability to see a log of all the referrals that they've sent and the status of them. So if there has been an issue with a referral, it actually shows in that log, so the GP can see that. The main feedback we get we've had initially, which is why we're doing the proactive phoning, is where GPs have sent a referral electronically and then a secretary has said that they still need to fax it. So that's the step we're trying to get over, and it's a behaviour change. It's people becoming familiar with a new way of doing the process and getting confident in that. So that's why, you know, we're providing a lot of support around that change. So and the take up by the GPs is going very strongly, and I think Bradley and Chelsea have been involved a bit on the GP side, talking to GPs, and may have some more feedback in regards to that.
And just to follow on from that, Carmel, so thanks very much for your and Nicole's information there. There's a question in the chat that mentioned, is there any compatibility to load the referral received this way straight into the referral window in the patient demographic in Genie?
Everything has to go into incoming letters and be linked. If the patient is in your database, it will still come into incoming letters, but you'll also get a notification in your patient record. So I often get specialist rooms saying we can only receive referrals if the patient's in our database. That's not true. You will get a notification in your patient record, but you will still have to hit link. That linking is making sure that everything gets seen. And when people say they can only receive referrals of the patients in their database, it means that they're generally not checking incoming letters. They're only checking through the patient records when a patient calls back to book and says they've got a referral. When they open the patient record, there's already that notification and they just hit link. But yeah, it has to go into incoming letters first, and it has to be linked.
Thanks for that, Nicole. We have got another comment as well. The problem with electronic referrals are that often the patient then decides to go to another specialist and that they would like to have a hard copy instead of an electronic one.
Yes, yeah, that is a bit tricky. So as far as a GP goes, the GP can print out that referral when it's first sent. And then from then on, and give that a printed referral, that hard copy to the patient. If the patient does shop around and decide to look at another specialist, they do have that referral, and the specialist would then need to call and get the referral resent to them. But there's another feature in SR that I'd like to show you, if you don't mind. It's you can give the patients a few options to choose specialists. I know that sounds a bit crazy, but let me quickly do that with you and show you this. I'll be a sec. So I'm going to go back to Genie.
One of the main advantages for the GP doing referrals this way is that using the SmartForm is actually quicker than doing referrals manually, where they have to do a letter and manually collect that information. So even if they do have to redo the referral, it's going to be easier to do it electronically through the SR service than what they're doing currently.
Okay, I'm just going to show you something else now, if you don't mind. Now I will have to switch between screens a bit later. So if you know, or you don't know actually, you're giving the patient a few options. So I'm going to go down to, let's go endocrinology, and I'm just going to search all specialists. If I look at this specialist here and I click on him, I have got email patient. And what this means is I can send this information to the patient without giving the patient my email. It comes straight from our service, from our Oz Health Pages directory. So I'm going to quickly show you my, I'll send it to me.
Typo, Nicole.
S-E-C-I-L. Yeah. Times like this, I wish I had
another typo before referrals.
Oh no. Yeah. Specialists. And that's because I was looking down to save time. Okay, so I'm going to send this email. And I'll have to share screens again.
Yeah, we're in lockdown and not on our usual IT setup either, so that's why it's a few extra steps for Nicole.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm back in my mail, and here we go. I have got some information on the doctor. And what you can do is when you're deciding to make a referral, you can actually maybe not do the referral, but when you speak to the patient, you could send a few different options. And so this referral comes from the Oz Health Pages website, which is our public website. So again, the GP or specialist email is not seen at all, but there's a click here. And then you can see the Oz Health Pages website. So the information there, and the patient can look and see if he's happy or he or she is happy on the ethos or what they actually specialize in. But I also think that you might have been asking about the fact that if you're sending a referral for a patient and the patient does change their mind, you will have to make another referral. That is unfortunate. But as a receiver of an electronic referral, it depends on how you run your clinic. Some specialists, the minute they get a referral in, they phone that patient and they book that patient in. Some specialists need a bit of a triage and they decide what to do, and then they pass it on to the reception staff to book the patient in. And some specialist rooms do not call any patients. They're really busy and they get the patients to call them. And in that case, if the patient has decided to go somewhere else, they won't call you. So you'll just have something sitting in your inbox that you wouldn't have looked at anyway. Because I do speak to plenty of rooms and they say they only check the incoming letters when the patient books in, because they have so many patients who don't call. But it depends on how you run. I mean, whether you call the patients proactively or whether you wait for them to call. That is one option of giving the patients a few different specialists to choose from before they make their decision using that email feature on SR.
So that gives the patients the contact details so they can actually check and phone the rooms and check availability, which is usually the main question that patients have, is around how available is that specialist at the different clinic locations. So it's still able to help with that process, and having that information readily available to the patient is really important. And so we're always open to further improvements of the service. And so if people have suggestions around that, by all means, let us know. We've made a number of improvements over the years, and we're continuing to do so for both New Zealand and Australia. Just some other bit of background, just briefly. We're actually a family business based in New Zealand. My parents started the business 30 years ago, and we've been doing the print directories obviously for many years, and we're gradually developing and now supporting the online referral process. And it's because we have had such long-term relationships with both specialists and GPs that we understand this process and the needs quite well, and that's enabled us to set up a service which does meet that need and provides good support. And that's our total focus and what we're continuing to deliver both for New Zealand and Australia. Open to any other questions?